everyone. This is Charlotte Pierce, and welcome to this third episode of Ready Row USA. Our primary topic today is one that's near and dear to my heart, although I don't know if it's improved my rowing much, gear and gadgets. I'm ever hopeful that it will. But I am a publisher at Pierce Press. I'm a master sculler. I've been at it about 6 years, just enough to get addicted, I guess. And I'm a member of Community Rowing in Boston, and I am a self-confessed rowing news addict. So I'm working with RowingChat, the international podcast network, to start this podcast in the U.S. So thanks for everyone for joining and for sending in questions beforehand. We're going to try and cover as many as we can. And today we have the honor of hosting Colette Lucas-Conwell. She recently spoke at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas about the connected athlete, and she'll tell us a little bit about her panel that she gave there. And she's also the first female coxswain for the U.S. rowing men's national team, aiming for the Olympics, I believe. Is that right? Can you give us a little bio of a brief bio of your rowing career?
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a great opportunity to just go over kind of what I saw at CES, which was a really cool conference. So to give you a brief bio, I started rowing at NorCal Crew back in 2008. I then went to Los Gatos Rowing Club, where I was recruited to the University of Virginia. My sophomore year at UVA, we placed third in the varsity 8 at NCAA, which kind of put me in the running for the U23 team. So a week after NCAA's, I showed up at U23 camp, ended up being selected to the under-23 women's 8, where we won a gold medal at the under-23 World Championships. I came back the next summer, made the under-23 women's 8 again, and won another gold medal. When I graduated in 2017 from UVA, I started training with the men's senior national team, which competes at the World Rowing Championships and in the long run, the Olympics. So I've been with them ever since. We recently moved out to Oakland. So back in January 2018, we moved to Oakland, California to train here full time.
Cool. It's gold. There's nothing like a gold medal, is there?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a great experience. I loved it.
And
hoping to
was this
repeat it.
coxing the whole time?
Yep. So I coxed the whole time. Something that I do believe in, though, is to work out with the athletes on land. So at UVA, I weightlifted with the rowers. I've done a little bit of rowing myself. I rowed a Southwest championship in a novice 8. And then this past head of the Charles, I rowed the parent-child double with my mom, which was a lot of fun. I'm just glad we didn't run into anything. That was kind of the goal.
Yeah, I saw quite a few collisions in this is my first time there, this year. And yeah, I guess there were a couple people, they borrowed the community rowing 8s, and they one international team kind of cracked it up a little bit. They would
so the goal is,
but
it's like the goal is just to remain unscathed through the head of the Charles. That's the one goal.
I know. One thing I finished, and I wasn't last. So that was my dream.
That's all you can ask for.
Right. And so you, Colette, you presented at the Consumer Electronics Show, and I know that we're not going to have a chance to cover everything that relates to connected athletes that you saw, but could you give us a little highlight of your presentation, and then we'll get into some of the products that particularly struck your fancy?
Yeah, no, for sure. So the Women in Sports Tech essentially put together this panel, and they invited some innovators. We had a moderator on there, and then they wanted an athlete who was training at the national team level to essentially talk about how we're building better athletes. So, currently elite athletes have access to some of the best sports scientists, technology, and coaches to not only measure our movements and, but also track our performance data and kind of guide improvements. So the conversation was how are athletes and coaches unlocking that potential, and then how are sports tech innovators, placing athletic potential in reach of athletes at all levels, from youth to masters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was, the gist of the panel. It went really well. So that was on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I got to walk around the showroom floors, and check out kind of some of the sports technology that was out there. Health and wellness was a huge focus. Lots of smart connected devices, and just kind of see what was out there.
And who else was on your panel? You mentioned someone who, the product that you're going to be talking about, he runs that.
Definitely. So Steven is the CEO and founder of Ascensai, which is really the only technology at CES that was focused on rowers and the sport of rowing. And he is also on the board of Women in Sports Tech. So that's how we got connected initially. So he's got this really cool app, definitely something that I recommend everyone go check out. What it does is it essentially uses all of the back-end erg data to offer coaching advice on your technique in real time, which is just the best way to kind of offer the connected coaching through motion capture apparel. And so they've worked a lot with Eric Murray, as you can see on the website, Helen Glover, GB team. And so I'm really excited to be working with them to see if, we can help partner up with them.
And does this involve connecting different, new sensors, or is it existing things that you can use?
So for the moment, it's only focused on just connecting your phone and the app to the erg. So and just purely based on the data that it's getting from the erg, they can give you a ton of different coaching advice. But I think further down the line, once wearable technology like a t-shirt that can track your motion, once that becomes a little more available to the general public and the cost has been brought down, then it'll connect to that apparel to give you even more personalized coaching advice.
And you say they're working with someone named Eric Murray and Helen Glover. Now, can you explain who they are? I'm just a beginner. So.
For sure. Yeah. No, so Eric Murray was part of the New Zealand men's pair, which, multiple gold medals. They really redefined the standard of rowing and what it means to win, really. And then Helen Glover is with Team GB, also multi-Olympic gold medalist. And I think what they saw with the app is that it was bringing coaching to anyone who's interested in the sport, because a lot of the time the best coaches are kind of centered in certain areas, like Boston, for example. There's a lot of top coaches there, or there's a few of them out here on the West Coast. But for someone rowing in Austin, Texas, for example, how are they going to have access to coaching like this? So this kind of gives, the coaching to everyone.
And would this apply to like sensors that are in the boat as well eventually, or is it just erg?
I think for now it's just focused on the erg, because that's where they kind of see the biggest market for this. For the boat, we're already connecting that with so many different technologies that I think they weren't too focused on that. I mean, we've got the Peach sensors, which connect your your foot plates, your oar lock, your oars. I mean, everything's already connected in the boat. They wanted something that could also work on the erg. However, if you can connect it to an apparel, then it's something you could definitely use on the water. So that's kind of the direction they're going, is that it's not just the erg, but later on they could use it in the boat by just having your t-shirt be connected to it.
So it doesn't, we can't get away from the erg.
Not yet. Nope. Unfortunately not, but hopefully in a couple of years we'll get there.
I know one person I was chatting with on Facebook she was like in Maryland, like remote Maryland, and she said, I bought a boat, I taught myself to scull, and now, I'd like to get some kind of remote coaching, that there's people out there like that, and we could seems like the sport could just really grow if, if people got that feedback. And that, I know when I went to rowing camp, the All-American Rowing Camp, Mark Wilson, who runs that, is one of our regular commentators on this podcast. And he's really interested in getting remote coaching going, because he sees people, especially masters in that sculling camp, make so much progress over the course of a week with that kind of constant feedback. But anyway, so a sensei, Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the way of the future for rowing, I think. And another cool aspect that we're looking to work on with Steven is to get, actual coaches like, Mike Tatey or national team coxswains like myself or, other coaches that are recognizable and using their voice so that you could be on the water and you could hear, me telling you, hey, hold your angle a little bit longer. Now press the legs down. That's good.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really, it's kind of bringing everyone to the table,
Yeah.
and getting
And we have the
rowing
technology for it now. Yeah. So that's
yeah,
great.
the technology's there. It's just kind of integrating it.
Sorry, I think I had the video frame was focused on me the whole time. I'm sorry.
No worries at all.
No, okay. Now, so that's a sensei, and the QS, is a QS the next one you were going to talk about?
QUS, yeah. So QUS is actually very related to this topic in that they make that wearable technology. They make the t-shirts and the sports bras and the shorts that can not only track, your heart rate, but also your breathing rate, your heart rate variability, your calorie consumption, geo data, acceleration, G-force, your recovery, and your regeneration analysis. It's really an amazing technology. It was the only one that I saw there that was, trying to move away from these heart rate straps into something that anyone could wear and that has a little sensor in the back. They found that to be kind of the easiest place to put it. And it could capture all that data, send it to your computer. And from there, they've got a really cool software that can kind of dissect the data for you.
So this guy is, sorry, I started the video and it's like blasting in my ears. But this guy has a shirt with a sensor on the back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so German company, we definitely like to kind of partner with them in the future to see, because this could have some huge impacts for rowing as well. I mean, not just for a sensei, having something that's actually a washable t-shirt that they could partner with, but also just for rowers to get all that data in a way that's a lot more comfortable than the heart rate straps. I know a lot of people have issues with how accurate is it really. I mean, it doesn't start censoring until you've got, or, connecting to data until the heart rate strap is a little bit wet, or, how accurate is it really? Is it comfortable? So this is kind of a step forward, I think, for wearables.
Cool. Any sense of how much this will cost? Or?
So I spoke to them. Right now, they aren't selling quite yet to the market, but they're thinking it would probably be about a couple $100s for the sensor, which stays with you, and then the t-shirts would be $40 to $80.
And you can slip the sensor into them or something.
Exactly. So the sensor you hold on to the whole time, you just slip it into a different shirt, and you could buy a couple shirts and just kind of, wash them, rotate through.
So they're using it in the NFL now?
Yeah, so they said they're testing it out with NFL players to kind of track where are their players going on the field, who could they be throwing to. I mean, it's impressive software. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, well, let's keep us posted on that. I can definitely, I'll be a guinea pig on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely something we'd love to see come out here to the US. So if there's any way we can partner with them, we're trying to make it happen.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And then my favorite, the Tesla suit. Does this have anything to do with the Tesla company?
I did ask them. It does not have anything to do with the Tesla company, the cars.
But I guess you can use the name because it's but what I love about these things are like they got these, I mean, the poses are so amazing.
I know. Well, and so the Tesla suit also won an innovation award at CES. I mean, it was definitely one of the coolest gears out there in that it doesn't just capture all this data, but it can give you feedback and you can feel and touch through the suit. So through, I think, like electromagnetic waves or something, it can vibrate on one side of the suit, or it can actually make you feel. That's what the haptic feedback is. And it can connect to VR. So it's really cool for a lot of different industries, but for rowing specifically, it can definitely not only help you. Yeah, I'm looking at the screen right there. It can not only help you just get all that data, but it can also actually help you train and recover and kind of show you where your muscles are weak and where you need to improve.
So haptic is that's like when you touch your phone screen and it vibrates, or yeah.
Yeah. It can make you feel touch, essentially. I didn't get to try on the suit.
With those suit. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how, like, could you row in it? Like, could you?
So I'm not, to be honest, I didn't get to try it on. There was a very long line to try it on. But I think it's, really in the preliminary phases. This is, kind of their way to just get some hype around the technology. But I could definitely see this being something that they engineered to be comfortable to row in. I know they were testing it out with basketball players, and they seemed pretty comfortable in it. So maybe,
you'd think the whole thing about connected athletics, you'd have to have it be flexible and usable. Right.
Exactly. And it's connected to VR, so you could watch yourself row, even if you could be on the erg and watch yourself row the head of the trellis. So that's, that's where the really cool part is the connection to VR. Now you have to make it comfortable to sweat through for half an hour to an hour, but they're heading in that direction.
I wonder if there could be like just a net or something where it would be more breathable or something. But I know I get pretty hot when I row. So.
I was going to say, it doesn't look really comfortable right now, but maybe sometime in the future.
So can you say it helps, a powerful tool for overlooked aspect of rowing, which is recovery.
Yeah.
And so why do you think that's overlooked?
Well, because a lot of time, and this is across all sports, so many people focus on what's the, what workout should I be doing? Should I be doing intervals? Should I be going at this rate for this long? And all of that is great, but it doesn't matter unless you're recovering well. And so sometimes, a lot of people know you should stretch and hydrate and all that, but a place where this technology could be useful is figuring out, you put on the suit and it tells you, okay, your hips are kind of misaligned and you need to stretch that out a little bit more. With the suit on, it could maybe tell you, okay, now you're stretched out, now focus on this part of the body. It's got God knows how many sensors on that suit. So it could definitely help out with that recovery aspect, which is so key to training in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I always feel guilty if I haven't worked out that day. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like right after I work out, I feel like my muscles are just great. And then, the next day, if I haven't gone out, I feel a little bit sluggish. But
yeah. And it can really impact your performance if you're not recovering properly. I mean, everyone from LeBron James to Steph Curry, they're all talking about how recovery is the number one thing that their trainers focus on. The coaches will focus on the workouts, but their trainers are like, okay, what is the best way to recover after a game, after a practice, so that you can be in top shape for the next one and really kind of reap the benefits from it.
Cool. Well, I know you have to get going, so I'll just move on to the next, like the highlight that you mentioned, which is mix fit. And like how precise do we have to get with this stuff? It's like,
I know.
How do you have to see, with me, those nutrition tracking things, the hardest part is like, okay, how much is a kind bar? How many calories is it? Is it the right stuff for me in this situation?
Well, and so what this was actually really cool because it's one of those technologies that gets the data and then gives you something out of it that can help you. So for this, essentially what it does is I forget exactly what the method is of ingestion, but it measures, you take a little something and it measures your enzymes. You put it into the machine, and based on what your enzyme levels are, it'll create a shake for you that'll essentially be perfect for you in terms of calorie, protein, carb content, everything. Wow. So it's kind of okay.
Did you try this? Or
honestly, I had 12 hours to get through all of the showrooms, and there's like 2 million square feet of showroom space. So I was booking it, but that's one that I kind of stayed at and kind of listened to what they were offering. Yeah. No, it's truly amazing.
So would that be more for like the elite athlete than, I don't know. I think balanced
honestly,
diet.
It can be for anyone. Definitely for elite athletes. We're always focused on nutrition and what, again, what's the best way to recover after a workout, what nutrients do you need going into a workout, but really for anyone. I know there's a lot of masters rowers and youth rowers who are also really interested in optimizing kind of their energy levels, their, general well-being, and that's something you could use.
Yeah, I found that sleep is like the best thing for me.
A lot of sleep technology.
I've tracked my sleep for like 4 years with this Sleep as Android, it's called, and it tracks my heart rate. It goes like from 90 when I lie down to 53, I think, is my lowest heart rate.
Oh my God.
I don't know how accurate it is though, but anyway.
Who knows? Yeah.
So mixed fit. Yeah, we'll keep track of all these things that you mentioned. And were there any other little random items that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, I think, there was a ton of sleep technology, which is another aspect of, athletes and wellness and health, is how well are you sleeping, and meditation. I mean, it's kind of become one of those things that people have put a focus on. It's something that we focus on the under 23 team, kind of just taking a moment before practice to focus on what we really want to get done. So tons of cool stuff there with bands that you can put on that can track your brain waves and actually help you sleep better or help you meditate a little bit deeper. That was some really cool, amazing stuff. And then in general, I mean, the future is here. Like, there's self-driving helicopters, there's incredible resolution TVs that are better than reality. I mean, it was eye-opening to be there.
Yeah, well, at rowing camp, at Mark's All-American Rowing Camp, he's trying out a drone, and we got some great video. I mean, you just fly around, and then, I didn't know I was doing that.
Yeah. No, the drone stuff is also amazing. I mean, they're just getting better, more, accurate. I mean, the drones are getting better by the day. It's truly amazing.
Yeah, and they're getting fairly affordable. I mean, you can get a drone for like $500 to $800, right?
Oh yeah,
something
pretty
like
cheap.
Yeah,
even less than that. I think a couple hundred.
Well, listen, if you have other things that occur to you, this document that we've been sharing, if you could put them on there, people are just really love this topic, including me. I think I'm the biggest fangirl of gadgets, but we'll have your contact information. But can you remind people where they can connect with you online, if that's okay, and what's coming up for you besides aiming for the Olympics?
Definitely. So people can reach me on Instagram. It's at Colette LC. I have a public profile, so people have been reaching out to me through there. And then also on LinkedIn, feel free to shoot me a note on there. So in terms of what we've got coming up for rowing, lots of training. We're looking at showing up at a couple different races, maybe San Diego Crew Classics, the World Cups, Canadian Henley. But you can definitely bet to see us at the 2019 World Championships. The naming date for that will be July 28th. And in Austria, we'll be in Austria racing from August 25th through September 1st. So that's what's coming up. And I also wanted to take the time to...
Right? Sorry.
I do. I was going to say, I also just want to take the time real quick to thank my employer, the Oakland A's baseball organization, for, their support in pursuing my goals. We're lucky enough that Mike Tatey allows us to have a job to financially support us through training. And they've been super supportive and flexible of the training schedule. So they've been amazing.
It makes so much sense for an employer to do that. I met a girl at rowing camp. She's pretty young, but she's working out there, and she's trying for the national team. So she's, training with Jim in Florida, and they're really supporting her, and she gets to work from her training camp. And so,
it doesn't come really often. So it's really special when you have an employer who can help you out with that.
To them. And it'll benefit them in the long run, I think.
Exactly.
Thank you, Colette, so much. And so there's so many tempting gadgets to try out next season and in the years to come. But we're actually going to continue this gadgets and gear because the topic got too big. So I'm going to have our engineer from Community Rowing, Andy Krompold, and our para rowing coach. She's a U.S. National Paralympic coach, Ellen Minsner. She's also a regular contributor, so they'll be coming in and talking about gadgets for those particular And Andy's good with, he does a lot of the repairs for the head of the Charles. So he has some good stories, really good stories. Some raising from the dead of shells and boats. But we're also going to try and, for this Ready Row USA podcast, we're going to try and start bringing in a sampling of news from rowing clubs around the country. So if you're a member of a rowing club and you want to promote something, just visit the show notes. There's contact information in there, and send us, if you have a fundraiser, an event, a regatta that you're trying to get off the ground, we want to help you do that. So please participate. It will be successful if we get some input on that. And I want to remind our listeners that Ready Row USA is part of the RowingChat International Network of Podcasts. It's growing, and we are affiliated with a 4,500 member Masters Rowing International group on Facebook, which is a great place to share information about Masters rowing in particular. But you can also subscribe if you visit the show notes, and you'll get notification of our upcoming shows. We're trying to be more regular about it, but we're just getting started. This is our 3rd episode, so you can help us by sending in news tips and listening to our other shows in the network. So thank you so much, Colette, again, and good luck with your endeavors. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Yeah.
Pleasure talking with you too. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Again, this is Charlotte Pierce, and I will see you next week, hopefully.